Well, new developments in the Mueller probe, the special counsel's office saying former Trump campaign chairman Paul Manafort repeatedly lied to federal investigators, which violates a plea deal he signed 2 months ago. Manafort's attorneys disputing that, saying, quote, he believed he has provided truthful information and does not agree with the government's characterization that he has breached the agreement. Let's bring in Alan Dershowitz, Harvard Law Professor Emeritus and author of the book, The Case Against Impeaching Trump. Good morning.
Good morning. I predicted this on Sunday when I said that Mueller is not going to be able to use Manafort because he is a proven liar, and you can't put a liar on the witness stand, just like he's not going to be able to use Corsi. He's not going to be able to use anybody who he got to plead guilty to perjury or lying to an FBI agent. You know, the number of witnesses that he has that are credible are shrinking by the day.
So going back to your comments over the weekend, which got a lot of attention, you spoke very strongly about what you see will be the outcome when ultimately this Mueller report is released.
That's right. The president has to be ready, and his team has to be ready, because Mueller is not going to produce a neutral report. He's not going to be fair. He's going to produce what he believes is going to be a devastating attack. He's going to put together everything. He's going to use information from Manafort and others without necessarily disclosing that they're liars. And so the president's team has to be ready, and that's why I've suggested that the president's team demand that on the day that the Mueller report is released, that their report is released as well, that the public gets a chance to see both reports. In other words, that when the Mueller report is produced to the Justice Department, it has to be turned over to the team.
Well, how can the president's team prepare a statement not knowing what's in the Mueller report?
Here's the way what has to happen. Mueller report gets sent to the Justice Department. The Justice Department doesn't release it. It sends it over to the president's team.
Right.
They then have a week to write a rebuttal looking specifically. Then once their rebuttal is ready, both reports are released at the same time. That way the American public gets to see both together. They don't get to see one-sided report that gets the front page of the New York Times and then a week later a page 23 response. Fairness requires that they be released, if released at all, at the same time.
The latest that we heard from the president came via a tweet today. The phony witch hunt continues, but Mueller and his gang of angry Dems are only looking at one side, not the other. Wait until it comes out how horribly and viciously they are treating people, ruining lives for them, refusing to lie. Mueller is a conflicted prosecutor gone rogue. You made the forecast or the prediction that the report will not ultimately indicate the president criminally.
That's right.
But it will be devastating politically.
If not answered. That is, if it's out there alone. Mueller is a smart guy. He has very smart prosecutors. They're going to put together every bit of evidence and create a mosaic which points to the White House, the Oval Office, the president. And if it's not responded to, it could be devastating. That's my point. Mueller is not going to produce a balanced, fair report.
I believe it was Congressman Darrell Issa yesterday who at the end of an interview kind of joked with me about if this ever concludes, when are you estimating that Robert Mueller could finally wrap this?
Well, I would think he would wrap it before the Democrats take over Congress, but you never know. I think one of the reasons he accepted the president's offer, which was the right offer, to answer in writing is because he wanted to get all the information before the midterm elections, and so nobody could slow him down. So I think he's ready to release the report. I think it's a question now of timing. There are no elections pending. Last election is today in Mississippi. Midterms are over. Between now and Christmas is the obvious time to release the report.
Before I move on to one other thing, do you think the public will get a full look at this report, or will bits and pieces come out?
Well, first of all, there's a real controversy as to whether prosecutors are allowed to release reports at all, instead of just saying indicted, not indicted. But if they are allowed to release reports, surely the defendant or the subject should have the right to respond to the report, and the American public should see them at the same time.
Are you getting any indication that the president's team is readying a response right now?
Well, I think it's public that they're working on a response. Yeah. They want to have an opportunity to respond. The American public should not be presented with a one-sided report.
So now Manafort's been accused of lying. Mueller's team says this is a breach of the plea deal. So what happens to Paul Manafort?
Well, he's in trouble. I mean, what he did is the worst of all possible worlds. He gave up his right to trial, and now he's in real trouble. He's already pleaded guilty. He can't take that back, and they're going to really redouble their punishment against him. I don't know that he'll ever see the light of day again.
Will the president let this investigation play out to the very end?
I think so. I think he has to do that, and I think in the end, when both sides are presented, the American public will have the choice to decide who has the better case. I do not think there will be criminal prosecutions of the president or anybody close to him growing out of the Mueller report.
Professor Alan Dershowitz, great to have you on set this morning.
Thank you.
Nice to see you.